This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined by, on my left, Mr. Derek CHISORA, and on my right, Mr. David HAYE. How are you both?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm all good. I'm all good. Derek?
Fantastic.
Derek, you looking well?
I'm trying to be. I'm trying.
David, I'll start with you. What is the current situation regarding Derek's fight with Alexander USYK?
At the moment, there's no date as such. You know, to stage a big pay-per-view event, you need, you know, for it to work, you need a crowd. You need significant gate revenue to cover the undercard, all the expenses that a big show comes with. So there needs to be a way to somehow get a crowd. And at the moment, it's not looking likely for a while. Very frustrating. You know, Derek's been training every single day down at London Shoot Fighters. You know, they've been assisting via Skype and Zoom, him doing his circuits, his sessions, and you know, he's been ticking over perfectly as well as we could, as well as I could have imagined. So, you know, it's just frustrating, you know. But Derek chucked a curveball yesterday. He said he's in such good shape, he doesn't want to waste it. So he said, get him a MMA fight. He said, I want to get out there in a cage. He saw what happened with the UFC the other day, a couple of weeks back. They fought behind closed doors, and the show was fantastic. Everyone enjoyed it. So he said, why can't I do that? Okay, there's a few reasons, but you know, I reached out to David Green at Bellator, and he said, you know, he thinks it's a great idea, and he's going to make some phone calls. And you know, people don't realise Derek CHISORA has been doing MMA for the last 2.5 years. He's been training Marius and Alexis from London Shoot Fighters, sparring with MMAs. They're trying to take him down. His takedown defense is pretty good. That's what he always try and do. He hasn't been doing it seriously, just been messing around. But, you know, if he wants to do it, you know, I'm his manager. He said, I want to fight. I've got to get him a fight. And if you can't do it in boxing, you have to find a way for him to fight. So, you know, we'll see what's happening. Watch this space. Watch this space.
Derek, why is it, apart from what David's saying, that you want something in between your fight with USYK, but why do you want to get in a cage?
I figure out most cage fighters come to boxing, so I want to go the opposite way. So most fighters want to get into most cage fighters want to get into boxing, so I figure out I'll go in the cage. I'll go to the cage. Give it a little twist, a little bit.
Is there someone you've actually specifically targeted that you want to fight in the cage? A question to both of you, really.
He told me he mentioned it yesterday, so no, I haven't thought about anybody in particular.
Who's the baddest man in the cage?
I don't know. Well, I was going to ask you about what you...
Find him. Let him know that I'm coming for him in the cage.
I'm telling you, there's so many mixed martial arts fighters out there who want the work right about now. Every promotion has been stopped. The only one I've noticed happened was the UFC. Everyone's desperate for work, and if there's a way to make it happen behind closed doors, you know, it's worth investigating, I think.
Derek, there's a lot of talk about Dillian Whyte fighting Francis Ngannou from the UFC. What do you think about that?
Whether fighting in boxing or in the cage?
Do you know what? I'm actually not too sure. I'm assuming boxing, but I don't know that for definite.
Ngannou, I didn't wipe the floor with him in boxing. You know, he can't fight. His last fights were not that great.
Is that someone that you'd look at in the cage, Ngannou?
Yeah, but he's not with Bellator, is he? No,
he's with the UFC, so it'll be someone from Bellator.
Yeah.
And the realistic chances of this actually happening, what do you reckon?
The realistic chance of the fight happening this year, I don't know. I can't give you an answer. I'd love to say the USYK fight's going to happen this year. I'd love to. I really want to. but I can't. Is the idea of having 20,000 people in close proximity in an arena seem slim. I want it to be August, September, maybe. You know, if there's an opportunity to turn something around quickly, you know, people know Derek needs to fight. He has to punch someone in the head. That's what he's born to do. So maybe not choke people out, but
the guns are ready to go.
He's ready. He's prime. He's got to crush that.
Derek, you want to choke someone out?
Choke someone out, knock somebody out.
Well, with this situation regarding USYK, if it goes too long and crowds are not allowed back in, would you both consider having that fight behind closed doors if it drags on?
Derek needs to fight. He's a fighter. He's 36 years old. Him being stagnant for long periods of time doesn't benefit him as an athlete. You know, he needs to be regular. He's training every day. He needs to have a date to lead to, whether it's a fight, whether it's a mixed martial arts fight, whatever it is. He needs to be fighting regular. When Muhammad Ali had a mixed martial arts fight, he fought a guy back in the day. I remember that. You know, there's lots of examples of fighters going from discipline to discipline. Conor McGregor jumped over to boxing. That was a huge success. Lots of fighters have done it in the past. I remember Shannon Briggs also went over to K1, I believe, and had a
James Toney did it as well. James Toney did it as well.
Work out that great for him, but he did it in the real twilight of his career. You know, Derek's still got many good nights of action, you know, left in him. So he just needs to fight. We need to get on. He's bored of this lockdown now. We need to try and get a bit proactive.
Derek, has it been frustrating for you because obviously your fight was meant to have been last weekend and you've been in this phase where you don't know what's going on with it? It was set for last weekend. We should have had a great night at the O2, but has that been frustrating for you?
It's been frustrating for everybody, man. You know, fight, you know, everything else. Yeah, it's been, but it is what it is. I can't complain about it. You know, it didn't only happen to me. It happened to everybody in the world. You know, loads of people missed out on getting paid. People got fired. You know, so I'm just like looking forward to what happens in the next couple of weeks. You know, including everything else in sports and what the government says.
Obviously, you haven't been doing any sparring. Do you know when you're going to be allowed to spar again? Is that going to be at some point in June?
As soon as possible. He needs to fight. He's a fighter who has to fight. That's what he does. That's what he's dedicated himself so much over the last couple of years. You know, and it can't be in vain. All that hard work he's done, all that discipline, all the dieting, all the strength sessions, all the sprint sessions, all of this stuff he's been doing daily can't get wasted now. You know, we need something to fight for. We need whatever it is. He needs to fight. He needs combat. He's a combat athlete who has to go into battle at some stage. So we got to force it by any means necessary.
So what's your next stop regarding this Bellator thing? What will you do to actually make that an actual reality, David?
I had a chat with David Green then, and he said it sounds fantastic. He likes the idea of crossover events. He said it gets, you know, not only do you get the boxing crowd, you get the mixed martial arts crowd, and that just doubles the entertainment. You know, it's always nice to have crossovers because, you know, everybody's can a world-class boxer defeat a world-class MMA fighter in different fields. Everyone knows what happened when Conor McGregor went over to deal with in boxing. How would Mayweather have done in MMA? You don't know. You know, will we ever get to know? I don't think so. Or potentially we can find out with Derek Chisora.
Derek, what do you think of this influx of retired heavyweights all potentially making a comeback at the moment? Mike Tyson, Holyfield, etc. What do you think about that, Derek?
I think there's only two fighters coming back from retirement, isn't it? Mike Tyson, Holyfield. You know, my checking Tony, David Hay, and they're coming back. But it's going to be a good fight, man. I'm trying to set me up. I'm going to do a comeback. Nah, man, listen. I will pay money to watch Holyfield and Mike Tyson again.
So you don't see no issue with it, them coming back?
No issue at all.
I got no issue with Mike Tyson and the Holyfield fight. And if you want to chuck Lennox Lewis in there, Riddick, but I'd like to see Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. Why don't they finally have that fight? Why they do that? You know, who wouldn't want to see that?
I want to watch it.
Everybody wants to watch that. So as long as they're fighting each other, as long as a 50-year-old is fighting another 50-year-old, I'm going to go and watch it. But the time you start getting a 50-year-old fighting a 28-year-old,
that's not fair.
That's when it gets a bit unnecessary and not very sportsman-like. You know, so you know, I love all of those legendary heavyweights. Just like I'd like to see, I don't know, Andre Agassi and Pete Sampras have a match. You know, no one's going to try and picket that and say it's terrible for the sport. It's going to taint their legacies. No, it won't. It'll just be entertainment for everyone. The same reason why everyone loves them now is the reason why they'll tune in and love what they see.
I know he just tried to throw you under the bus there a little bit, Derek did. But David, can you just confirm you're not having these thoughts whatsoever?
No, not so. But I'm having the thoughts of enjoying watching some of my favourite fighters.
That guy was sleeping on my sofa right now. He was daydreaming, fighting.
So, I'm happy at the moment. You got Mike Tyson, living legend. Same thing with Holyfield. You know, two of my favourite fighters of all time. Going at it. But I just love to see the press conference. I'd love to see him getting on the scales. I'd love to see him going toe to toe. But you know, Holyfield's been my guy. He's the only other guy other than myself. He's been my idol growing up and idol as a professional. The only other guy in history to be the cruiserweight and heavyweight champion. So I followed in his footsteps. And you know, I'd love to see how he competes at 50. You know, it's inspirational to see the shape that he maintained throughout his boxing career, fighting much younger guys. Yeah. And so let him fight someone older. It's fine. As long as it's not a 12-round fight, stick him in a six rounds, just so I don't get too tired, and be explosive 6 rounds.
Why not? I mean, it's different.
Well, what else have we got going on now?
Nothing
what else is it? Honestly, if they went and did, I saw a little poster about them doing it in Saudi. I got so excited. I was like, it's finally gonna happen. It's gonna be amazing. Then someone said it was a fake poster, and I got upset. And but anyway, that really got me buzzing. I was thinking, if it was really happening, God damn. Imagine Derek jumping in the cage, having a cage fight. Who wouldn't watch that? Would you watch it, or would you say, I'm not all for this crossover stuff?
What do you think, David? What do you think?
Exactly. Everybody who loves a punch up will watch it.
I'd watch Derek have a fight in a car park.
There you go. That's the third option. That's it. Working car park fighting.
For the record, for anyone before they jump on it, I was obviously joking.
Okay.
Yeah, I would 100% want to see that, and I'd like to see Dylan fighting Ngannou as well. Why not? Like I said, what
a double header that could be. Can you imagine that?
Could do it on the same bill.
It's a semi-final.
Ooh. Sounds tasty.
Just a final question to both of you, really. Obviously, sticking with the heavyweights, do you two firmly believe that we will see a fight next year between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury next year?
Me personally, not yet.
If this situation we all find ourselves in didn't happen, then yes. But because it's been pushed back so far now, I don't know when, the likelihood of happening is maybe at the end of the year. I was hoping middle of the year. Then this 3 months has pushed it back, and I don't know, maybe I hope and pray that it happens. But no, it doesn't look that. Doesn't look like the mandatories that they both got have been going to get pushed back. So there's still going to need to be fights before that. So we can only hope that the big boys are going to finally settle their differences. But yeah. Fingers crossed. Doesn't look that likely right at this moment when we don't have a date for the next boxing event.
People talk about this Joshua and Fury fight and kind of dismiss sometimes Pulev, who Derek obviously you know very well, and Wilder. Are people wrong to kind of dismiss those fights and talk about AJ Fury just yet?
I think people want to see good fights. So people, they don't look at they're not looking at Pulev anymore. They're expecting Tyson Fury and AJ to fight before they fight Deontay and Pulev. But you know, I'll be the same. I'll be like, yeah, I can't wait for the fight to happen. But we've been waiting for the fight for AJ and Deontay Wilder to happen since 2 years ago, but it never happened. So you know, people are like, we want this fight, but it didn't happen. You know, and then suddenly, you know, when Tyson was coming up, Tyson was like, I want to fight AJ by Eddie will say, no, you're not ready yet, but it's just boxing. So I think people want to watch it. People want good fights. If it's a good fight, people will pay and go watch it.
Absolutely. All right, last word from Derek. If there's any Bellator heavyweights watching this right now, Derek, what's the message?
I'm going to come and smoke all you guys out, man. Go hide, boy, because I'm going to come in those barrels you guys are hiding and smoke them out.
Okay, message is clear. David Haye, Derek Ward, CHISORA, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. I'll let you get on with your evening, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again both soon.
Yeah. How have you been, man? You all right?
Surviving, Del, surviving.
So if you had a question, if you had to invite 3 people at dinner, the past and the here, who would you invite?
What, just anyone in general?
Anybody in the whole world who's dead and who's alive. And what's the reason you invite them?
Elvis.
Why?
I love Elvis. Elvis, Donald Trump, and Muhammad Ali.
What a combination! Love that.
Why?
Because they were friends. Ali was friends with Elvis. They were buddies. So there'll be.
Well, how does Donald Trump fit into it?
I'm just fascinated by Donald Trump. But if it wasn't Elvis, it would be Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
Who gets ego?
Say that again. Hello?
With Frank Sinatra.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. It just froze for a second. Derek, who would you have at a three man party, not including yourself?
Just BT. I can't. I get into trouble.
Yeah, he had some unsavoury answers last time he was asked that. I'd have George Carlin, Bill Hicks, and Dave Chappelle. I'd have the funniest dinner party ever. I just sit back and watch them go. Boom.
Okay. Have you got a sensible answer for us, Derek?
Come to it. Who would you have?
Who would I have? I like music, so I'll probably have Bob Marley.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, and somebody has to cook and clean the dishes. Probably have.
Don't answer it. Don't answer it.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Don't go there.
Stop.
Tony Braxton.
She could sing you. Yeah. Okay.
Tony Braxton, Bob Marley.
Yeah. And then Nelson Mandela.
Good shout.
You brought it back with the last one.
What's that?
You brought it back with Mandela. Mandela and Bob Marley get together. That'd be a great combo. Oh, look, Braxton's a wild card there. Just for the
wild card.
Pretty up. Keep everyone distracted.
All right, guys. Listen, thank you. It's breaking up. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we get to speak again soon.
Definitely, man. See you later.
Thanks, Phil. David.